I am so glad to be back. And I was gone for longer than usual. And I always worry when I'm gone if people are gonna come back when I show back up. Thank you. Well, it's true, but as a studio owner, you know, as a previous studio owner, I would see that. I would see how numbers would be affected whenever someone was gone for a week, especially 2 weeks, and then it would take a while. You may lose people altogether, or they may come back, or they, anyway, thank you for I've never been gone as long as I was, but it was nice, and the day I came home was the day I was ready to come home. So it was a really good trip. I took a few days for myself in Iceland before I went to my retreat in France, and Beth was with me on that retreat in France. She said it was wonderful. I think it was wonderful. I also think France was really hard. I'm still processing France. But I think a lot of it was hard because I was the leader of the group, and there were just a lot of pieces to it as we traveled around, and I was driving half the time. And a little stressful. Yeah, just a little stressful. So when I finally was done in Paris, Switzerland, it was like a total decompression for me, and I really needed that before I came home. And the last class that I just did, which was Blissful Flow, I'm not ready to talk about France yet. I still need to process it. But the last class I did a class that I brought to them from Switzerland, because it wasn't a yoga retreat. And I appreciate you, by the way. I never told you thank you, but we were sitting at the table once halfway through the week in France, and it was meant to be a spiritual pilgrimage. And the whole purpose was to awaken the divine feminine. And someone at lunch one day was like, "Oh, are you gonna do some yoga?" And Beth was like, "No, she said this is not a yoga retreat." I was like, "Thank you, Beth. Thank you." Because I you know, like anything, you need a break, and I don't give myself a break that often, and I needed a break, and so I appreciate that. Thank you. No, that was perfect, because it came from someone else instead of me, and then I just got to reiterate it. No, it was great. But by the end, when I got to Switzerland, oh my God, I needed yoga so bad, and I was walking to my hotel and passed the yoga studio. And it wasn't like a yoga studio like this. They only had one class a day, and that class was prenatal, which I obviously didn't need. And I went the next day, and it was French speaking. She could speak English, but I could tell she was stressing, thinking, "Oh, I've got this American who doesn't speak French." I just told her, "I'll follow the yogi. I know what I'm doing. I'm just glad to be here," you know. And so it took the pressure off of her to speak English, and I just listened and watched, and it was one of the best classes I've ever done. And so that's what the last class got. I cannot do that class with you. It's too many pigeons, and then it's a fancy pigeon with the back bend. It's too much for the knees. We're not doing that yet. Thank you. Yes. But saying that, if anyone in here wants to have that practice, I have it recorded and I can get it to you. You just have to ask, I'll send it to you through email. So what we're going to do today is actually inspired from Iceland and my travels. So right before, literally, I went to Iceland, the volcano erupts. Yay! And right before I boarded my flight, I get the notification my hotel had been evacuated. Oh. And the place where I was staying initially was going to be closed, obviously, because it was too close to the volcano, which also meant the Blue Lagoon, which is like the infamous place everybody goes to that has the icy blue waters and the thermal waters that you soak in and do a little facial ritual. And really, I planned on spending a day and a half there, and then I was going to move on. So I had to quickly determine before I hit the flight, now what? Plan B. And so this is where yoga kicks in at a bigger level. Thankfully, I'd done a lot of research. Thankfully, I had another hotel planned. So I reached out to the other hotel. Do you have a room available? well, really tonight, do you have the availability that I can just tack on to? They did. Okay, great, that's great. The Blue Lagoon was also shut down, and that was gonna be my main big event that I was doing. Thankfully, through my research, I had discovered there's another lagoon. It's not the blue, it's not the sulfur-based one. It's in the north side of the city, and it's called Sky Lagoon. It actually had a 7-step ritual to it. And it's the one that's more favored by the locals. It's not as touristy. So thankfully, I was able to book through that. My point is, I had to be flexible, quick. Instead of having a meltdown and worrying, here I am going to this foreign land by myself, and now I don't have a place to stay, I had to kick it into gear, right? Plan B. And the beautiful thing about yoga is when you can turn to your breath and like you can remind yourself, like, it's okay. Something else may come up that's even better. I feel like that's what happened. Because I went to the Sky Lagoon. It wasn't the same, but it was amazing nonetheless. There was a natural waterfall. There was all these corridors that you could go through by yourself. You didn't want to be with the crowd. 2 swim-up bars. You went into this area that was wide open, and it looked like it blended right into the sea. It looked like you were in the sea until you got to the edge and realized, oh no, there's a cliff, and then there's the sea. It was amazing. And to see the locals, because they have darkness all through winter. And then they have sunlight 24/7 through this particular time frame through the summer. So the sun doesn't set. To see the locals like truly basking in the sun and appreciating the sun, almost worshiping the sun while they were in the lagoon was pretty powerful to witness. And once you were in the lagoon, that was the first step. The second step was, sorry, you're hearing this story over again, Mel. The second step was a cold plunge. I hate cold weather. I hate cold water. I don't like to be frigid. And I was like, that's the second step. The second step. I wanted to skip it. So I get in and I'm like, literally, that's what I was doing. I couldn't breathe. I was starting to hyperventilate. And there was only one woman there and a guy who was guard there, like checking people's things so they're not doing the ritual like more than they should, right? And so he's kind of like looking at me strangely. And she, the woman in there, happened to be American, but she had been living in Iceland for 20 years. And she said, oh, just drop into the water. Cause I'm like waist deep. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. Like I seriously can't breathe. And she's like, just drop your shoulders. And she was looking at me eye to eye and she was smiling at me. And she was like, just relax, just come down into the water. And I came down into my shoulders and I'm like, it's getting better. So I'm starting to get a little oxygen, but her calm presence and her coaching me, it was like me teaching you like in a pose that's really difficult. Breathe. Are you breathing? Right? That's what she was doing. She was giving me yoga in that moment. And I trusted her and I sat with her and I stayed in for 5 minutes. I couldn't believe it either. I could have actually stayed in longer. And someone else came in and the woman was still there and she was coaching the other woman. And I was just watching going, you're amazing. You're like the yoga teacher here right now. And then you get out and you go to a sauna. And then from the sauna, you go to a steam room. And then from the steam room, you go get a scrub to put all over your body. And then you go into this room that has mist. And then you get all gooey. And then you go shower off and go back to sleep. It was incredible. So incredible that I want to go back just for that. Even though the rest of Iceland is freaking amazing. The waterfalls are like unlike any waterfall you'll ever see in the world. Massive. And you can go behind them. And just the rainbows coming in with them. And literally side by side by side, just waterfall after waterfall after waterfall. It's an amazing place. It's called the Land of Fire and Ice. So there's tons of volcanic activity. There's tons of waterfalls. I did research enough. It says do not hike on your own. So many tourists go and try to hike on their own and have to be rescued because they don't know the land. And there is quicksand there. I went to see a glacier with a guide, and there was signs of quicksand. He goes, it's not the quicksand that's gonna completely bury you under, but you will get stuck and you won't be able to get out. And so just be aware of that if you decide to go to Iceland. So we're gonna do waterfall pose. And I'm gonna add in a few poses that I did along the way through my travels. And yeah, so it's completely different than the last lesson. So we're gonna come down to our backs. Have your strap and hands reached, please. And separate your feet and flop the feet in and out a few times. And then when they relax open, check in with your low back. And through that rocking motion, if that didn't comfort your low back, I would suggest bending your knees, flattening the soles of the feet, and doing a scooping of the belly and a little tucking of the tailbone to see if that's helpful. Your hands can rest on the belly or beside your body. Go with what feels intuitive. And start learning to trust that inner guidance. Begin your conscious breath work. Breathing in and out slowly and deeply through the nose. Unless you need your mouth. Take the time to breathe well so that you're settling into your body and the breath is bridging and connecting not just your mind and body, but your spirit as well. Take a moment as you're centering yourself. Notice the effect the breath is truly having. So that we're always in awe of the power of the breath. It's there for us. Befriend it. Let it be your best friend. Let it be your support system. While you're resting, while you're moving, even moments where you feel stressed. Now that you've started with a little pranayama, I want you to glide the feet together. If your knees are bent, you are going to want to straighten them out at this point. Maybe it does feel better in your back for the legs to be more knit together. Just notice. Bring your arms down beside you, shoulders descending away from the ears, palms flipped so they're touching your sticky mat. Point your right foot and lift the right leg up as you breathe in. Flex your ankle, and as you exhale, keep the leg elongated and lower it down. And it's okay if you want to completely touch down or hover. And then point and inhale, lift. Single leg lifts. Exhale, flex, lead with your heel to descend down. Keep this going, right leg only. Do it slow and with control. It seems like you're doing beautifully. Right? If it was regular exercise, it'd be more like a rocket, but it'd be in yoga. We're synchronizing the movement with breath. We're allowing the breath to initiate
to guide as well as to complete the movement. All right, switch sides. Bring your left toes to point forward and fly it up. Flex the ankle, lower it down. Again, you don't necessarily have to hover. This is a gentle practice. Feel the work that you're gaining through the various muscle groups. There's a different muscle group on the inhale with the toes pointed. And there's a different muscles group getting engaged on the flexion and the descents. Last one. Good. One, to complete the single leg lifts, grab your strap and pull the right knee in towards your upper body. The strap will wrap around the sole of the foot. Now, if you have a loop in the strap, we used a loop in the last class, you're welcome to lasso the foot with the loop and just hold that singular piece of fabric. Doesn't matter. Now, if you gently pull on the strap, you'll notice it naturally flexes that ankle more. So gently pull on the strap, but at the same time, spread the toes and push the foot into the fabric of the strap. And notice you gain more. Obviously, this is a gentle class. If you want to do less, apply less pressure. See if you can find the edge of your flexibility, honoring that place where you feel that first warning sign that it's enough. Breathe into it. Padangusthasana A. Now, you have the double strap. Take both ends in your right hand. Hold down your left hip with your left hand and flare and abduct that leg to the right side of your body. You want to keep that left sit bone, left half and heel, applying pressure downward. That way you're not rocking or tipping the pelvis, and the right foot is not even close to touching the floor. This is the supine Padangusthasana B. On your next inhale, let's go ahead and lift that leg back up. Exhale, bend the knee to remove the strap, set it to the side. Hug your right knee in towards your chest line. Again, you can hug a little or a lot. Depending on your experience, dependent upon how much flexion you can handle with this right knee. Now loosen your grip so the knee kind of backs off, but keep your left hand on the knee and open out your right arm to the side, palm facing the sun, and now spin the right knee over your midline. But attempt to keep the right arm and shoulder residing on the floor. If it picks up just a little bit and it's hovering just a tad, you may feel like it's opening up some connective tissue. And if there's no strain, you can stay there. If you're feeling awkward in your low back with this twist, you can always bend the left knee and tuck it up underneath the right. Good, now unroll from the twist and let your right leg descend back to the mat, or you can slide it out in front of you. You're gonna do that same sequence down to the left, so pull the left knee towards you, take the strap around the foot, fly it up. And really, just holding it here is gonna give you an opening. But if you want to refine your alignment and be a little bit more active, then gently pull the strap, let your heel naturally jut up taller, and then spread the toes, and then push the padding of the foot into the fabric. Take both ends of the strap now to your left hand. Have your right hand holding down your right hip. And when you're ready, open up to Padangusthasana B. Now working into the inseam of the leg, the inner thigh. Think about how the legs propel us forward into motion and help put us into action. They also can make us halt or turn away from something or take a different direction. But what I want you to consider right now, since we just had the summer solstice and this latest full moon, I want you to think about whether or not following your bliss. Whether or not you're truly following your intuition. Maybe that's something that's missing that you can incorporate. All right, inhale, let's bring that leg back up, and exhale, bend the knees, and the strap over to the side. Hug it in. And notice, since we're going from one side to the next, how does this differ from the previous side? Maybe you're more locked in your hip or knee on one versus the other. Look at it without judgment, just curiosity and awareness. All right, instead of squeezing that knee so close, let it go, but keep your right hand on it. Free up your left arm and take that supine twist. Carrying that knee over your midline. And then, of course, if you need to simplify it more, bring that right knee in as well. Affirming here as you hold, I'm opening myself up to a new flow of energy within. All right, exhale, unwind from the twist, and now hug both knees in towards your belly. So I really do feel like it's best if you don't do quite as much of a bear hold with both legs. A light hold is plenty. Let's roll to the right side body. And then let's come up to sit for just a moment. And then we're gonna get up to stand. So when you come to sit, I want to share with you one simple stretch that we do in here often, that you can do when you're confined in such a small space where you can't really move left and right. And that's bringing your hands together, lacing your hands, and reaching the arms up overhead. So just think about when we're sitting for a long period of time, whether it's at the desk or traveling on a plane or a train somewhere. Think about how when you're sitting, your spine starts to just slow, right? But even with your arms reaching up here, you're not only extending your vertebrae and opening up some space, but you're engaging the muscles, strengthening your back. Feel even how you're engaging your core muscles and how they're being of support. Keep reaching through the heel of your hands. And then exhale, bring the hands back down. Okay, now let's get up. And when you come into stand at the top of the mat, I suggest your blocks out in front. maybe standing on whatever height you typically use them at. And then once you ground your feet and line up your ankles, knees, and hip points, we're gonna sweep the arms to the sides and up overhead. We're gonna relace the hands at the top and turn the palms up. Now, when you're doing this, I want you to notice, are you only accentuating and focusing on your waist up, like the way you had to do when you were sitting? Or can you apply the proper positioning of the legs and the action in your feet? Can you really spread out your toes? Can you plug all four corners of the feet down so that your leg muscles are engaged? And then on your next exhalation, you're gonna let your left arm come down. You're gonna turn your right hand to face the left wall. Push down through your right foot and notice how it kind of kicks out the right hip just a tad. And then lengthen over to your left side. Let the left shoulder relax away from your ear. That arm can just kind of hang free. But I really want you to accentuate and exaggerate that length, that side bend. And if you find that, well, my breath is maybe not like I was in the cold bit, but maybe you're having a hard time taking that full inhalation. If that's the case, you're doing too much physically, so just kind of back out a little bit. All right, from here, I want you to take your hand to the back of your head, and you're just turning through your chest a little bit, opening that right arm and gazing through the right corner of your eyes. And inhale, build up. Exhale, relax the arm down. We're going to take that to the other side. Inhale, let your arms circle wide and overhead. Relace. Pump the palms skyward. And then are you putting any effort in your legs and feet? So bring in that effort in your legs and feet as well. So it's a whole body pose. And then as you exhale, let the right arm fall away. Flip your left hand towards the windows. And then root down through the outer edge of that left foot. Curving over into Chandrasana, allowing strength and courage to fill up your body cells. Now bring that hand to cup the back side of your head. Draw that left shoulder back, elbow back. Look sharply through the left corner of the eyes. The eyes are a muscle as well. Inhale, draw yourself back up. And then exhale, relax the arm down. Good, bring your hands to Anjali Mudra, prayer position at your heart. As you inhale, your arms are gonna come up. You're gonna take a gentle backward facing bend. And then as you exhale, you're gonna bend your knees super deep, almost a 90-degree angle with your legs. And you're gonna spill over your thighs, let your head dangle down towards your knees. This is a standing form of child's pose. And if you were doing chair yoga, imagine sitting in a chair, folding over. That's a similar variation. It's also a brace position, right? If you're having, well, we don't want to think about that. If you were having a crash landing on an airplane, this is the brace position. Inhale, pressurize the feet, reach the arms out in front of you, and use your legs to come up and bring it back. And then exhale, bend the knees deep, come back down, standing form of child's pose. Head releases down. Inhale, stretch your arms out, bring it all the way up to stand. And then exhale, bring hands to prayer position at the heart. Hi, Tammy. Inhale, arms circle wide and overhead. Exhale, this time we're folding and we're trying to keep the legs straight, but we're gonna bring the hands to the blocks. And the blocks are gonna be ahead of the toes. So it's kind of like in same distance you would be on hands and knees, except you're on your feet and your blocks. Have your blocks and hands lined up right underneath your shoulders. Roll your thighs in and push your thigh bones back and reach out through the crown of your head. You're still looking down, lining up your bones and joints. Just opening up the back of your legs. That's one thing with all of our sitting and all of our walking. It's like, we need some hamstring work. We need some calf stretches. So there were a few points through the day where I'd have to like fold over to Uttanasana. All right, from here, you're gonna walk the blocks back alongside the feet, and you're gonna immediately step your left foot way back. And when you step that left foot way back and you're lunging that knee, try not to allow it to surpass beyond the ankle. It's not necessarily gonna damage your knee, but this is a little bit more refinement to the alignment. All right, from here, notice how much work you're putting in your hands. Like if you're dumping your weight there and smashing the blocks a little bit. So pluck up your back thigh and really put the pressure into that right foot so that you're firing up your hamstrings, strengthening them, right? We think of this as a stretch, but if you apply certain principles, there's strengthening occurring as well. So holding this lunge, lighter hand hold. Good. Now offset, you may want to baby hop that left foot slightly forward, ground that heel, and you're going to come up and have your arms in front of you. Okay, so just imagine, got your roller bag, and you're really needing some yoga. All right, your arms are not going to be up like this, but think about your roller bags down here. That's what I was doing at the train stops. It's holding my roller bag, stepping back into my crescent lunges because I needed the work. Didn't matter what people thought. All right. So here, if you are leaning forward, just back up your shoulders over your hips. And then you start to feel your calf muscles with that back heel down. And then turn your thumbs up and keep that front knee lunging, but allow the arms to track alongside your ears. Now you're coming into warrior one. From warrior one position, you're opening up the front thigh. You're rolling your back thigh forward. You're spinning your pinky slightly inward. Looking straight ahead, chin parallel to the earth. And now exhale, turn your palms out, lengthen your arms to your sides, fingertips turn upward. And then exhale, bring the hands to prayer position at your heart. Good, now lower the hands down. Spin away from your back heel, wiggle the toes back, and settle down to your back knee, untuck the back foot. Right now, just allow your hips to sink, your pelvic floor to melt down. This we're kind of just giving into gravity, but we're going to work against gravity by pushing into the right foot, drawing up through the pelvic floor, up through the navel center. This is a little bit of a balancing pose, but take your left hand to your front knee, your right hand to your waist, and see if you can twist to the right. Find a focal point for your eyes. Try to stay committed to the pose. Hold your breath. And then exhale as you unwind, let your hips sink back down. Hands to the blocks for support. Curl the back toes, lift that knee, spring that back foot forward. Bring the blocks in front of you. Station yourself back here. Now, if you want at this point to bend the elbows and to drape down into more of a full Uttanasana, you're welcome to, but you may like the props, you may like the blocks. Notice how when we drape down, then we have an opportunity for that blood flow and the energy currents to continue to pour down into the face,
to the sensory organs, to the brain, to the pituitary gland, to the pineal gland. Firm, nothing, no one on this earth can hold me down or back. I think it was Joseph Campbell that used to say, when you follow your bliss, doors will open where there were once walls. Bring your hands back to the blocks, lengthen out through the spine, then walk them alongside your feet again, because we're taking the right leg back. And when you take your right leg back, you're on the ball of the foot, the heel is actually lifted. And then again, just notice the blocks and how we tend to put all the weight here, and we forget the true foundation of this pose is the legs and feet. So put the work into that front foot so that you're activating those leg muscles. Less work in your arms and hands. You may not even want to use the blocks. They may just kind of want to hover, but they're there for your balance if you need them. Good. Offset, plant the right foot. And when you're ready, you're lifting your arms up. Shoulders back. Thigh opening so that you can see that big toe. Holding this variation of Virabhadrasana 1. And then flip the hands, thumbs turn up. Line them up alongside your ears. Come into this variation of warrior. Consider for a moment, when do you have to pull up that type of energy, that warrior energy, that strength, that courage? And now separate the arms out, fingertips turned up. This is really good work for the carpal tunnel area in the arm. It's also good for a little bit of bicep work. And then hands come together to prayer. This is a great position if you have heart disease. It's not always good to be here. So being here is better for the heart. In case that applies to you, you can personalize your practice later. Exhale, hinge forward, take the hands to the block, spin off the back heel, wiggle the toes back, descend the back knee, untuck the back foot, and just let your hips kind of melt into it. This iliopsoas muscle here can be really affected with emotion and trauma and constant sitting. Trying to bring that mobility and flexibility here. We're trying to emotionally detox from this. Then push through your left foot, draw up through the pelvic floor, right hand to the left knee, left hand to your waist as you spin around to your left. Think about the twists and turns that life brings us. How do we face those twists and turns? I don't think I've seen you guys since my son graduated. I taught that morning. He graduated that night. And then I didn't see you again. But his dad had a heart attack the very next day and was in the hospital for 3 days. So all of that celebration and build-up came crashing down. But it's life, right? I know you have stories to tell too. Exhale, unwind, let your hips sink. Bring your hands to the blocks. This time we're going to push into the blocks to bring the left knee back, and we're going to lose the blocks after that to settle the palms below the wrists, rather below the head of the shoulder bones. All right, from your tabletop, inhale, you're moving to cow, sinking the belly, opening the chest and throat. And then as you exhale, we are going to flow with this, taking a back stretch. And then inhaling to cow. Try not to rush through the sequence.
especially in your cat, because I see a lot of cat stretches that don't really fill in the gap in between the shoulder blades. And you really want to activate your upper back there. And you want to hollow out your belly in cat. Nice. Oh, very good. Seeing beautiful cat pals in here today. Let's do one more sequence. And then I'm going to give you a choice here. Well, let's not have a choice here. Let's rock the hips forward, come down to the belly, and slide the forearms out. We'll all do Sphinx. I'll give you the choice after this. With your elbows lined up underneath your shoulders and your hands spread out. So you don't want to just kind of shrivel here. You want to push down through the arms, and you want to fly up through your navel, through your heart, through your head. Okay. And once you have that grounded and your upper body active, I want you to focus on legs. So really lift and lengthen your legs back a couple times. And with the tops of your feet pressing down into the floor, notice how that will engage and contract your buttocks, your glutes. And then continue to reach through the feet, continue to tighten through your glutes, continue to push through your forearms and lift through the top of your head. And maybe, just maybe, you can retract the belly just a smidge. And then I want you to find an angle for your head or your neck, because it doesn't always feel great to every person to look up or to look straight. Sometimes it's actually nice to casually look down. Think about your personal neck. Yesterday I had a headache when I was teaching, and I had to angle it forward to take the tension away. And that was making the headache worse. From your Sphinx, affirming as you hold, I will accept everything that comes my way as an opportunity for further growth. And I rise joyfully to greet these new opportunities, even if all your plans fall apart. All right, exhale. This is going to be your option here. Slide your feet apart, and we'll all do it first. Rock your hips, and then stack your arms and your head on top. Now, you can stay right here if this is better for your knees, all right? But if you want to go to child's pose, slide your feet closer together, slide your hands up underneath your shoulders, push up through tabletop, and settle back into child's pose. So obviously, that first option is going to be more gentle for your hips and your knees. And if that's what you need, please stay in crocodile. Either way, we're penetrating the forehead. If you're in child's pose, you're getting it naturally, whether your forehead's down or not, because you've got an angle and it's giving you the inverted quality. There's a pressure point here that helps with mental peace. You're more or less just relaxing into it. Turn, and I release now from all outer involvement into my own inner haven of peace. Now, if you're in crocodile, you're going to come to tabletop. If you're in child's pose, you're coming to tabletop. And we're all going to curl the toes under and pop up to downward facing dog. And now that we're in downward facing dog, really press into the base knuckles here. Stretch long through your arms and the spine. Let your head bow between the arms. So you're looking towards your feet And how many inches do you have between the big toes? You don't have to know precisely, but if it's more like 6 or 8 inches, slim it up to about, I don't know, 3 to 4 inches. Okay? From there, that's gonna give you a better functioning to lift your right leg up. When your right leg lifts up, again, notice, when the leg lifted, did you soften the shoulders? Did you buckle the arms? Can you keep the same pressure through your hands? Can you keep the same extension through your arms? And feel as though that right leg is like an extension of your spine. Good, exhale, lower your right foot down and sail the left leg up. Same thing, just halfway. If you start to split the legs more, that's going to create asymmetry in your hips and shoulders. And we're looking for symmetry here. Parallel lines through the arms and shoulders. Good, now lower the left foot, come down to your knees. Grab a block in front of you and spin down to your seat and feet out in front. All right, we're gonna scoop forward. Come down to our back with our knees bent. Now, I have the tendency, and Jim, before you roll back, like where are my heels under my knees or closer to my body? Hold your body, right? Okay. Better? Okay, so she gave me that visual check. You guys don't necessarily have a visual check. My point being, if your feet, right, if you have really open, flexible knees, if the feet are too close to the buttocks, and all of a sudden you start to go into your bridge pose, you're gonna feel really crunchy or a little discomfort or pain in your low back. So it's better for the heels to be under the knees or even slightly and barely in front, okay? Now, inhale, push down through the feet and tuck and lift your tailbone. Let your thighs stay parallel to each other, meaning you don't want to turn your toes away. They're still facing the front of the room. Let's go ahead and slide the block under the sacrum. Now remember, the block turns 3 heights: low, middle, and high. Low, medium, and high. So however you naturally arch up will determine what height of block you want for this. And then just sit on it. And turn your palms open. So it's more restful. And this is the half bridge. And I'm going to take us into a version of waterfall. So I want you to lift the legs up, the feet up. And if it's very rocky, it may be that you don't have the block in the right place. So you may need to bring the feet down, readjust, and go for it again. So this is really great for circulation. So it's good for the heart. It also can be calming for the mind and nervous system. But if you're feeling a little cinching in your belly, it could be that your legs are coming too close to the face. So take them more towards the front of the room and let your belly to be expansive. So let your feet slightly flex. So just imagine that's like the cliff, right? And then the water comes rushing down. And it's going to land in that pool of water or down into a river, which represents our belly. Now, the first time I tried to go to Iceland was back in the 90s when I used to be a flight attendant and started a route there. And it never did work out. And then I ended up being pregnant and quitting. So there went that. And then a few years ago, I decided, oh, I'm going to do a yoga retreat in Iceland. And I had it all mapped out and planned out in my mind. And I thought we'd be meditating in the cave behind one of the waterfalls. Because I heard there was this indention. And it didn't work out. Canceled it. And then finally got to go on my own. Well,
went to discover that same waterfall, yes, you could go behind it. There were so many people there and it was so loud and people were laughing joyously. There's no way there could have been a meditation. See how sometimes things work out for the better. You may not know why. That's a simple, silly one, but you get the point. One more deep breath. And then on your exhalation, go ahead and send the feet to the floor. All right, now bring your arms beside you with your palms face down. And you're gonna plug the feet and your upper arms into the earth. And you're gonna tighten up through the buttocks again. And you're gonna lift away from your block. And you're gonna push down through the mound of the big toes to keep the knees more narrow. And now you're in an active bridge. Look at your belly. Is it rising and falling? If it's not, maybe holding your breath or breathing shallow. Now, take your hands underneath your body and you're going to take the block to its lowest height. And the lowest height, you're going to sink back upon it. And you're going to try to extend your legs forward and out. Flipping your hands open again. This is a full bridge. It's not as dynamic as say the second or third heights of the block would be, but this still gives you inversion. Still giving you the shape. If it's not comfortable, listen to your body, bend your knees. If you need to come out, come out. No problem. Right, we're all going to bend the knees again. We're going to tuck and lift away from the block. We're going to scoot the block away. It's time to roll it down, but roll down with control. So contract your belly and let it roll down one vertebra at a time. And then catch your knees, but let your thighs flop open. So it's more of a stirrup or tree frog pose. And draw your knees together. And roll away to one side of your body. And then we may go over this a couple minutes. But I want you to leave your block strapped where they are. If you're on the back row, this is going to be super easy. You're basically going to slide your mat to the back wall. If you're on the front row, you have choices. You have a side wall and you have this front wall. Debbie, you can come up for the front or to the side, either way. So, waterfall pose is different on a block than it is the bolster. With the block, obviously, right, it's more narrow than a bolster. So bolster, when we use it as a wall for waterfall pose, goes underneath the sacrum the same way, except it's not this. I want you to watch what I'm doing. If the bolster is touching the wall, and this is not the way to get into it, but I'm just gonna do it. for people. If I'm here, right? It looks like a waterfall, but it's not a waterfall. Because I'm feeling my belly getting cut off here. And my sits bones are not going past the bolster. It's bolster's not high enough. So the way we're gonna get into it is gonna be like legs at the wall, right? Fetal position, legs up. Then we bend the knees, push into the wall to bridge it up. We take the bolster under the back so that the sits bones hang on the opposite side. Now I have that wide open pool of the belly. Now, if you get into this position and you don't like it, or you can't figure it out, or it's stressing you, there's no point in stressing, that's just yoga. So just do away with the bolster and do legs up the wall. If you already know your body well, and you're like, I'd rather be flat on my lower back, just do legs up the wall, no big deal. You guys are doing great. Now, you're farther away from the wall, which is fine. Yes, but yeah, you should be closer. So let's. You want to do it that way? And I think more. Yes, that's gonna be, I think, better for your knee. And you're doing, how's it feel though? Feels good. Clean up. That's nice, thank you. You good, Debbie? I'm just walking around a little bit to see what we've done. Yeah. You're so, you're good. The bolts are so good. So let's bend the knees and push up. Now. Yay. Okay, good. This will be our time for Shavasana. And waterfall pose that you're in, or Vakriti legs of the wall too, are both very medicinal poses with full moon energy that we really feel a strong effect of 3 days prior to the moon and 3 days following. In case your sleep's been disrupted, this will be helpful. This can truly be a calming agent during times where you feel like you are lacking sleep or having poor sleep. I'm just gonna let you be here, rest and rejuvenate for the next few minutes. Silence. Start to slide feet down the wall. With your feet pressing into the wall, you're gonna push and bridge up like you did getting into the pose. You're gonna slide the bolster to your left side. And then as you come down, slowly but surely. Now roll to your right and be mindful that you may have a bolster when you turn to your right. And we'll come up. And you can sit with your back against the wall, or you can grab that bolster and sit on it. We're just converted and flipped upside down. The main thing I want you to take away from this practice today is when things flip upside down, remember your tools. The lessons learned on the mat, how to be flexible, how to turn back, use your breath to stay calm. Join your hands together to prayer position at your heart.
take this calmness with us as we depart. May we be an instrument of peace as we depart. May we continue to allow ourselves to be seen and to shine our light. The light and the love that dwells in my heart bows humbly and respectfully to the light, love, and hold in yours. And stay. So much for being here today. I hope it's what we needed. If it's not, there are plenty of classes on the schedule.
Any little bit's good. I'm glad you came. Yeah, that's all.